got time, have a go. Now we're going to talk about one of the really good guys, somebody we all know and love. Yeah. Jim Bacon.
Yes, but he's officially retiring from the world of weather.
It's 50 years he's been national and regional weather forecaster, isn't
Yeah, just over 50 years.
He is a man of many loves as well. He loves trains, he loves amateur radio, and he plays the guitar, and he loves the weather.
He's just such an amazing guy, and I know that you worked alongside him for many years, and he taught you a huge amount, didn't he, Jess?
Yeah, I'm a very lucky girl, and as he is now officially retiring from the world of weather, we got together for a bit of a mardle and a look back at what has been an amazing career.
Good evening. Well, after the last few days, the patterns on this chart will probably look very familiar to you.
A younger Jim presenting the national weather forecast from London. Fast forward a few decades and he's officially retired, which gave me the perfect opportunity to catch up with an old friend.
So let's start right back at the beginning, because something we've not actually ever talked about is where your love and passion for the weather began.
Well, it started growing up in the Fens, really, and my misspent youth, some of it was spent down on riverbanks like this, and I used to get up at 3 o'clock and go fishing before going to school. So in the Fens, sitting on a riverbank, you can see the river, but you can see a lot of sky.
So then, aged 18, your forecasting career begins at RAF Mildenhall, and then there's various other forecasting jobs. And then is it right that you actually fell into a job forecasting on BBC National Television?
I kind of fell into that by accident. I was taken along to an audition session, not realising it would involve me at all in any way. I wandered round and they said at the end of it, give it a go, just see what it feels like. Fine. And about 6 months later, turned up at London Weather Centre. They said, oh, you're the new TV weatherman then. Wow.
For most of us, it's going to be a dry and rather misty night in places, particularly in these western areas.
And what was it like using those magnetic symbols? Because forecasting back then was very different.
Well, the magnetic symbols were difficult to handle because in the studio the lights were very hot. You had these bits of flimsy magnetic rubber and you had to get them in the right... It's like dealing a pack of cards. Very tricky.
And there was a golden egg moment, wasn't there, on the Noel Edmonds Late Breakfast Show?
Yes.
This is the gentleman who takes away this prestigious award this evening, Mr. Jim Bacon.
But for most of southern, central and eastern parts of England, it's going to be a dry night, perhaps rather a misty... That doesn't come out at night.
And we have done a bit of a trawl of the archives, Jim. Do you remember your 1984 appearance on Val Dunican's Very Special Christmas?
Oh, my word. That was an amazing thing. I was on a shift, a 12-hour shift, and the boss at the Weather Centre came down and said, there's a taxi outside for you. You're going off to do a Christmas special. These are the words of the Christmas carol you've got to learn. Off you go.
Greetings from the weathermen, we bring you good cheer, which is more than we bring you for the rest of the year. But we simply report on the things that we find, and we can't take the blame if he changes his mind.
In my dreams, I think the snow has blown through and February will start with something of a heat wave.
And then, of course, we were lucky enough to have you come and work at Look East.
All in all, the winter theme continues, and just to take us back to that band...
Which did you prefer? Magnetic symbols, because I quite like the idea of slapping something on the screen behind me, or the whizzy sort of electronic graphics?
Well, I think I have to say they both have their strengths. You feel in control of the magnetic symbols because you've got them in your hand, but the computer graphics nowadays are just so good at showing quite complicated ideas simply.
Well, I'd just like to wish you a very happy and enjoyable retirement. You deserve it.
Excellent. Well, that was...
And I think I'll leave the last word to Val Dunican.
They also asked me to mention that Jim Bacon on the end is in fact leaving the TV weather forecasting team. So can we thank him for all the marvellous news he's brought us through the year.
But National Telly's loss was definitely East Anglia's gain, as Jim came back closer to home to be with his family and work here. And there was so much more we could have talked about, but something tells me we haven't quite seen the last of the lovely Mr. Bacon. Now today, well, we've had some showers, as you can see on the radar, but a lot of fine and dry weather too, although I have to say some of these ones this afternoon were on the sharp side, but plenty of this blue sky and some pretty impressive temperatures today, up to 18 degrees Celsius, which is 64 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's all changed because Storm Hannah is knocking on the door quite literally, and the Met Office have issued a yellow warning for strong winds between 9 p.m. this evening and 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, with gusts of wind between 45 and 55 miles an hour. So the potential for damage and disruption to travel. And as well as the wind, we've got outbreaks of rain overnight, which could be heavy and persistent at times. Now the cloud and the rain means that it's going to be a mild night. We're looking at temperatures no lower than about 7 to 9 Celsius, with the strongest winds probably towards the end of the night for us, gusts between about 40 and 50 miles per hour initially. So here is Storm Hannah, the low pressure and front associated with her, and she's going to make her presence felt during tomorrow too. So we keep the cloud with some further outbreaks of rain, probably the heaviest and persistent the further north you are, but even if you have drier skies, we are expecting quite a lot of cloud. Temperatures, well, certainly on the cool side compared to today, and wind gusts tomorrow between 45 and 55 miles per hour. And then Sunday, well, as Hannah moves away, closer you are to this spiralling weather front, the greater chance of seeing a few showers. But for many of us, Sunday, fine and dry, quite a lot of cloud again, but hopefully some brightness and sunshine, and temperatures coming up a little bit closer to average, and it's going to be less windy. And good luck to everyone taking part in the London Marathon. Conditions similar down in the capital on Sunday, and thankfully not quite as warm as last weekend. And then as we head into next week, Monday and Tuesday looking fine and dry at the moment, with the rain staying away to the west. And then as the winds turn more northwesterly from Wednesday, that could drag in 1 or 2 showers, so becoming a bit more unsettled. And gardeners, just beware. We have got some milder nights, but the potential for a touch of frost on Sunday night, and especially on Monday night. That's the forecast. We'll hopefully see you later. Bye-bye.